Welcome to the Big Fat Gay Podcast 2023 edition.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, everybody. My name is Michael. I am a chaser, and today I am an excited 2023 boy, even though I just got sick. I was going to say I was a congestion boy, but we're not doing that one today. We're keeping the vibes positive. No matter what happens this year, it's going to be a good year. I guarantee it. Nothing can go wrong if I guarantee something like that.
That statement will be important later, listeners.
Stay tuned.
Hey there, everybody. My name's Don. I'm a big chubby guy living here in sunny Hollywood, and today I am your ninja of illness.
Oh.
I have danced between the raindrops and escaped the Christmas season unscathed. Until
stabbing.
today.
That's stabbing.
Until
I dabbed
today,
and coughed at the
Michael
same
will
time.
be infecting me shortly. So.
No, it's been, I haven't had symptoms in like 5 days, so hopefully we're good.
No, you just kind of dabbed, and Dan, dabbing came up, I think, in Glass Onion, and Dan was like, what's dabbing?
I remember, and then when you told me, I'm like, oh yeah, I knew that. Hi, my name is Dan Oliverio, author, public speaker, and professional chubby chaser. Professional, yes. I have a union card. I have everything.
I think that's called being a prostitute.
A scrapbook. No. Sex workers do not keep scrapbooks of their work.
How do you know?
Because we didn't.
Because you are one.
I mean, I think some do. They just call it a retirement plan.
Or a resume.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. Anyway.
Hi. I'm Trevor Keyson. I'm a super chub, and I am your 2022, and then you're like, oh, wait, no, it's 2023, so I got to make that 2 into a 3.
Oh,
boy.
Accidental.
Yeah, so it's like, it kind of looks like 3.
What does it say about us that Trevor has the most sedate intro of the 4 of us this year?
I got it out in our little Patreon video.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, if you want to see Trevor going absolutely ham, subscribe to Patreon now.
Yeah.
I appreciated the jazz hands.
And while we're on it, quick thank you to all of our Patreon listeners.
Thank you.
And our
patrons.
non-Patreon
And
listeners.
our non-Patreon listeners. All of our listeners. We've had some pretty fantastic listenership. We have the stats to prove it.
We've been so
Finally,
listened.
we've been statified. So thank you.
Like the hands on a mother's finger.
I'm sorry, what? Explain this one.
You can't choose. We love all our listeners.
Oh my God.
I mixed 2 things.
Wow.
This is why it's never wise to go into Trevor's brain without galoshes.
Yeah. Without a line to lead you back out again.
Chainmail.
There was
The breadcrumbs you leave get eaten.
There was a very silly video that I shared on Instagram. It was a little cartoon with seals. And it was so dumb, but it just made me laugh so hard.
Not a rarity.
And,
Can I just say, as his husband, not a rarity.
If this makes it in, I'll share it in the episode description because it is just so stupid, but I just thought it was so funny, and that's kind of my brain.
Also, on special news, so Lizzo's edit of her concert came out on HBO Max.
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody wants to watch that, I'm pretty sure.
No, it definitely.
this.
Okay,
it's us, right?
Yeah.
We are in at least one shot.
okay, but
You need to preface what you mean
the
by
shot.
that.
So
It's a wide shot.
It's a wide shot of 10,000 people.
yeah,
Oh my God.
I was expecting like a less wide shot from your text. So I pulled it up and then I'm like, oh shit.
No, you
And
can't really see us.
I got up and I went up over to the TV and I was like, okay, squinting lady, holding her
No,
knees.
what I love is because there are close-ups. Like there's this one woman staring up in adoration at Lizzo, and then there's the wide shot of 10,000, and you're in that.
We're in that.
Yeah,
We're-
no, but
you can actually see the shirts. Like you can make us out. You just can't see faces. Anyway, I thought that was exciting.
I have a
We're
distinctive
immortalized.
shape when I am sitting down.
Just look for the enormously adorable gumdrop.
I think it's more like a big bean, like a properly soaked bean. And then Michael is wearing a light color, so you can kind of see, okay, there's a person next to the bean.
There's a much smaller person
And then there's another bean on the other side.
on the other side, but he was wearing black, so it's harder to make out. Anyway, so we're immortalized forever in Lizzo's concert that's on HBO, so you should go check it out. We're at, hold on, I have the time code. I can actually tell you guys. If anybody's curious enough to go look it up, we are at 20. Where did I write this? 2857.
Happy hunting.
So go check it out. It's in the
It's sort
wine
of like
shop.
Where's Waldo?
Yes. In black. If the entire thing were black.
We'll give you quadrants. We'll tell you which quadrant of the screen we're in.
Ooh, actually, okay. So the first listener to watch this and send us the screen grab and like circle us, if they get it right, this is real. I will send you a prize in the mail because I actually do want a prize.
Wow.
We're doing our first giveaway
Oh
ever.
my God. I'm impressed that you've managed to bring back the Lizzo concert for another 20 minutes.
No, okay.
It'll never die.
Slam that button, Michael. Take us on.
Okay, wait, which one is it? I don't remember. It's there we go.
Yeah.
Bam, bam.
This is very much the vibe I was going for with my little jazz hands in the Patreon.
Whenever I hear this music, I'm picturing movie snacks dancing. Am I the only one?
Yeah.
And they take off their top
Oh,
hat.
I think it's far slicker.
Let's all
and-
go to the movies.
No, and only if the movie served like, gin Rickies and Manhattans.
My movies do.
Why don't they?
If you want to see a snack serving,
Ooh, good segue.
Yeah.
Down.
Eureka,
Eureka O'Hara.
yes, has a new video out, Big Mama.
With a W.
Yes.
Mama.
Ma-
Big Mama. Aw.
which is, it's a bop, it's a vibe. It is, I think, the energy.
It's
We
got
should bring
good
into the year.
Good New Year energy to it.
Big mama, she's got class and a whole lot of ass. She comes strutting in the room. She got her eyes on you. And those daggers that you throw. Watch your mouth, this ain't no host show. Big mama, she's got heart. So stop tearing it apart. Hey, big mama. She's busting down your walls. Hey, big mama. Always answering your calls.
It's a fantastic video because it's very entertaining, but it also brings another element to Eureka's, I guess, career, which is acting. Whereas like a lot of music videos, it's just sort of big, fun, in your face set pieces, costumes, props, and stuff. But this one, while the song is very upbeat and in your face and owning yourself, there is a storyline, a through line where Eureka's acting, which is one of her sort of passions, and sort of the conflict between being a big, loud, bold drag queen, but also wanting to be taken seriously, much like her idol Divine. And being able to play a character in this music video who is a trans woman, but still in like the male world, right? Still in the suits and the ties and struggling,
Getting married.
getting married, and he's, playing straight basically. And sort of playing this character who by the end of the video finds acceptance with his wife. She presents him with a dress and like starts putting makeup on him. And Eureka gets to play this character and actually do some acting, which is a passion of hers. And it's super, super cool because you get layers to it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know about that her idol is Divine, but now that you say it, it's like, oh my God, it's pure Divine.
Yeah, you can totally see it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize this. I knew Eureka went by they, them pronouns, but she actually came out as a trans woman.
Yes.
Recently, was this video the actual coming out action, or was this?
I think it was
happened-
part of it. I think
Okay.
it was because Eureka did post about that on Instagram, but I think this kind of coincided with that and sharing that announcement.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not subtext in the video. It is the primary storyline of the video. So y'all should check it out. Watch it. You can also just listen to it on Spotify if you want, but I recommend the video.
Yeah, the video is
Worth
tremendous.
Yeah. Okay, well, moving right along
We're flying right
Yeah.
along.
out of an airplane, into an airplane.
Into an
I don't think they ever made it on.
no, they
No.
never made it on.
No, this is an incredible story. So, a Brazilian fat woman traveling with her not as fat family, apparently, made it to Lebanon just fine, and then she's trying to go home to Brazil, and Qatar Airlines won't let her board because they say she's too fat and she needs to buy a first class seat. And the woman's name is Juliana. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yep.
She argues that, look, I made it on all the flights to get here just fine.
Yeah.
Why don't you just let me board your damn airplane? Well, it doesn't go well, and they won't let her board, and and there's video of her not boarding.
Yeah.
And eventually, this is the part where it's like, okay, a lot of fat people have been denied boarding. Where this gets really is that she calls the Brazilian ambassador.
Which is where she's from.
Yes. I mean, she's from Brazil, so she calls the Brazilian ambassador. It's not a question.
She didn't just call a random ambassador.
No,
Do if
I'm
you're
sorry.
stuck in another
I'm sorry. Most fat people who are denied passage don't end up calling the ambassador of any country.
Right.
So she calls the ambassador. I think she missed her flight, so she had to spend the night. I think she was at the embassy.
Oh, wow.
And the ambassador talks to the president of Qatar Airlines. And that's how they get her on the flight with no additional cost. And then she goes home to Brazil and she sues the airline. Mm-hmm. And even more surprising, she wins.
She wins.
Yes.
That's the part I was surprised by.
And she wins for getting basically to get psychological counseling, to get all the trauma she went through. She gets this paid for. And this is the part that no article I've seen has been able to answer. I want to know what the judge's legal reasoning was. Not that it was wrong, but can we apply that? Can we steal that? What was the legal reasoning that won her the case? Mm-hmm. And I'm very curious about that. And then, of course, just the celebrity angle of like, how did the ambassador get involved?
I am interested in the reasoning because it kind of reminds me of going back to, I don't know, it was one of our first episodes with the obesity as a disability case. Do you remember this in Washington State?
Yeah, one of our
where
original
it's some things.
Yeah, but I mean, Brazil is not exactly at the forefront of that.
No, but it's like, I'm wondering if it's a similar thing where it's like, well, she's so fat, so obviously she's traumatized and they made it worse by doing this. So, of course, they have to pay for psychological care. Like, I'm wondering if it's something like...
I wonder... I'm going to throw this out there. I kind of wonder if there's anything additionally political to it. So, you guys are not soccer fans. I am, and the World Cup was in Qatar.
And Brazil did not. Yeah.
Well, nobody was happy about it.
Oh, that's
and
weird.
Qatar famously had, like, slaves building... the stadiums of thousands of people died.
No, I do.
Death rate,
This is the only part of the World Cup I did follow.
Yeah, because it was a huge thing.
Huge,
and, Brazil, like many countries, but especially South American countries, they shut down for the World Cup. Like, it's a big deal. And so given that Qatar was sort of the villain of the World Cup, it's such a big deal in Brazil, and this happened at the exact same time. I'm kind of wondering if there was a political aspect to it.
Our detective.
Where is
this? Is
No, that's
Mikael,
that's a really good observation.
Call me Blanc. Sorry, you should call me Blanc.
Mont Blanc?
I think that is
There's a
a
glass
brilliant
reference.
observation.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you very much.
Did Brazil win the World? Who won the World Cup?
No, Argentina won.
Close.
Brazil was a favorite to win, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
they are always a favorite.
But for people questioning why she contacted the embassy, that's one of the functions of an embassy is to help citizens of their country when they are stranded or encounter
true.
difficulty.
Okay, very true.
That is
true.
So for all of you, whether you're fat or not, no matter what your reason, if you find yourself lost in a
Stranded.
foreign country, your embassy is your friend.
Oh no, did I move it? I moved it. Son of a bitch.
The embassy is your friend.
Well, that didn't work out.
Oh, with a rim shot.
I'm just glad it wasn't
guys-
the burp.
I have that here.
Don, you're
I'm
absolutely
saving
right.
it.
That clears it up.
I'm saving it for a good.
Yeah. I
Anyway,
think.
good point, Don. I'm glad we didn't distract from it.
Yeah. Oh, dear. And then, okay. So then the ambassador calls the president of Qatar Airlines. That's okay.
Yeah, you're basically like, we have a Brazilian citizen here who was denied exit from your country by an airline who refused to seat her unless they extorted more money out of her.
Okay, I get that.
Well, it worked out. And yeah, like Dan said, let's copy paste that ruling.
Yeah, how do you do that? What was
Okay,
the...
now this is not a thing against her, but I have to ask the question. Does a year's worth of I feel like if someone offered me a year's worth of therapy over this, I'm not sure how I'd feel. I'd feel like I don't feel like that's necessary for that one specific
I don't
thing.
think you're going to get anything else out of it. If that makes sense. Like, I don't think you're going to get money.
Or?
No, I don't like
I
from
see.
suing. I think that's the only thing you could sue for.
Especially, yeah.
Actually, I think, and this is an amateur guy, I'm not a legal expert. I think if I understand correctly, you could conceivably sue a company to say, like, you need to spend $100,000 on educating your personnel on how to deal with fat people, or, creating programs where fat people can sit on your airplane and that sort of thing. You can sue for that sort of thing, I think. So even if you can't get money out of it yourself, you could try and force them to put their money where their mouth is.
Well, and either way, you've certainly shamed them into like exposing the soft underbelly, as it were, of an airline like that that's not treating people right. So maybe they would even just do it themselves. Maybe. Probably not. But maybe. You never know.
No.
They can follow on Google search. All right.
I want to live in your optimistic, shiny heaven, Michael. Sign me up for your newsletter.
It's a zany place. All right. Let's do it.
Do you hear that, baby?
We're here.
It's a new year.
Fat Watch 2023.
Is it?
I did it like Don Norman.
Yes.
Or is it? Wait, what?
Well, because
Every year we've kind of done a little something different for Fat Watch. There's been a different vibe. There's been a different take. There's been a different feel. And with there's a lot of pending legislation for fat rights. And I thought it could be cool to look back at NAFA history, look back at the history of the Chub Chaser community, kind of look at the organizations like Big Mo, which was preceded by ABC, which was preceded by Girth and Mirth, because I think we have two different camps of listeners. I think three. I think there's the people who are into fat rights, fat academia, who are like, I don't really know a lot about kind of this whole Chub Chaser world. Okay. And then I think we have Chub Chaser people who are like, oh, I don't know a lot about fat rights stuff. Or, I think also a lot of younger listeners, like the, pre-millennial and younger, don't know about a lot of these organizations. And then I think there's just civilians who are like, I don't know about any of this. Yeah. And I thought it could be cool to start off the year with NAFA's first January issue of their newsletter. So this is January 1971, issue 3 of NAFA's newsletter.
The organization was only formed in 1969.
Yes.
Oh, so this is way, way back in their history.
Yeah, this is like the third newsletter.
And I thought it could be cool to look at the Bill Fabre, who is the founder of NAFA, who we've talked about before, has his president's statement, and then also there's a look at this new thing called computer dating.
What could that be, Trevor?
Well, no, I thought it was interesting because it's so talking about, this new technology and this new function and computers for dating. And now it's I feel like people just, that is the primary way people meet now.
Well, I think it might need to be said, as someone who lived through that era, computer dating in 1971 was not a website. There was no web. Computer dating in 1971 was you go to an agency and they put your characteristics and wants and desires on punch cards.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
And it's basically a database, right?
It's a database, and they load your punch cards into a computer, and the computer picks compatible matches.
Yeah. So this was called NAFA Date. And there was a whole committee dedicated to computer dating. It was the Computer Dating Committee. And so it was limited. It was NAFA members in the greater New York area, New Jersey, Connecticut, and people could apply and be put into this database. And this is the start of it. So I don't really know how
it went.
I mean, I think it went well because
Find out next year. The next newsletter.
I think it would take 10 years for this to be supplanted by video dating.
No, but there's a little. The newsletter has an example of what the form looks like, and it's your name, address, phone number, and then male or female, your age, and then the age range you're looking for, weight, height, education, highest level, complete.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and it actually doesn't ask what gender you're looking for because that's implied by your own gender.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
Religion, ethnic background. If you have any handicaps, would you date a handicapped person?
Oh.
End of qualifiers.
That's it.
And how do they define, so-called handicap?
I guess it's not really that different from how a website like Bigger City works.
Yeah.
It's just slightly more sophisticated.
I think it's interesting looking at like where dating, computer dating, quote unquote, was then. And then also, so this is 1971. NAFA was founded in July 1969. At the time, there were 250 NAFA members in the entire organization, which is, I think, a lot at the time.
Oh yeah, considering you're mimeographing newsletters and mailing them, yeah.
Yeah, and this is like people finding out like through word of mouth or the news or like maybe a phone call from their, Sophie, your college roommate.
Local NAFA chapter.
Yeah, no, there were.
Well,
there were.
so in 1971, they were starting to form local chapters.
They hadn't even gotten
that was
far.
yeah,
yeah,
that
because
was,
they
like,
realized they were too
where
New
they were
York
at.
centric.
And also, there's an apology from Bill for that. There's nothing about clothing in the newsletter because so NAFA primarily when it started was for people to meet partners, to find out about plus size clothing, and it was more kind of social minded stuff. Like there was fat rights stuff happening, but so much of that at the time was just finding someone to love, finding clothes to wear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it really had to be everything for all people.
Yeah. And I think it's so interesting looking at like now there's so much more, there are so many more dating opportunities for fat people, so much more clothing stuff. I mean, still not a lot, but comparatively, comparing to the fact that when the origin of NAFA was because Bill couldn't get he found one blouse in the entire city for his wife.
Not the store, the entire city.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a choice. And he's like, I hope she likes it
Yeah.
because it's the only one.
And, now these kind of, I mean, not Connecticut, but like a lot of the kind of founding areas of NAFA are where we are seeing legislation pending.
That's true.
New York, Boston, inexplicably, somehow.
Some good stuff coming out of this.
Yeah.
Don, how about you set up the main subject for us?
So, seeing as how it's New Year's and we're starting off on 2023, we're not necessarily huge on resolutions. Like, we don't want to say, swear an oath of what we're going to achieve in the coming year.
And
I
feel
swore
bad.
off resolutions.
My best resolution is to resolve no resolutions. But we do want to declare our intentions. I think that's a fair way of saying, like, the things that we see for ourselves
Or wishes.
Or
Our
wishes.
projects.
I saw it as wishes. Like, what do you wish for
Yeah.
yourself in 2023? And like, even in concrete terms, like, I want this. I want an Xbox. I want,
It's a valid wish. I have many wishes.
All
like
my
that.
gaming systems are obsolete. You're reminding me.
Well, I
need
think
to update.
what's funny is that I said it because I was like, do they still make Xboxes?
Yeah.
Is that like Game Boy?
Well,
No, they do. Anyway.
So we were talking about, wishes for ourselves, wishes for our podcast as we move forward into the new year. And I'm curious, guys, what
I have
did you
one.
come up with? Michael.
I have a wish that I'm kind of in process of actually like doing the thing, which is okay, short version. Moving away from a city that has my best friends and family, found family, but also besides that represents a huge amount of stress and doesn't really represent the kind of life that I'm looking
Yes,
to live.
listener, he's trying to say that he's moving out of LA.
Out of LA. And this is not a new thing within our group, but we've talked about it and we're going to not let that affect the podcast to the degree that is possible. However, the point being that finding a space and a place to live that doesn't produce nearly as much stress as I experience living in LA, and having a home environment, since Michael and I both work from home, that actually supports the things that you want to have. And like having an office, for instance, I would love to have an office. So where did we end up? Well, there's a lot of requirements and I won't go into them, but the Venn diagram narrowed in on the greater Las Vegas area, which is not too far away. It's drivable. You wouldn't necessarily want to drive it. I'm actually planning on coming back once a month to impose myself upon Trevor and Dan.
Yay.
And so we get to keep recording at least some of the podcasts in person and do stuff like that.
We have a very imposable guest bedroom.
That's right. / Trevor's office.
Yeah.
But but that was very much built around like I need to come up with a version of living because I work and live in the same place, that makes me feel good.
So do you have a wish or intention or highest intention that you want to
The
come out of
wish
that?
is to have a home that is of a quality that I feel I deserve, and specifically that gives me a working space that helps me focus. Because right now it's all combined space, right?
Yeah,
It's a one-bedroom apartment. Michael and I both work in the same room that we also live in, that we play games in. And it's this hodgepodge mess, even when we try and keep it clean. And that makes it very hard for me. I think a lot of people would agree, like a mess of a living space makes it hard to focus. But I think especially for an ADHD person to like focus on the work that you have to do when there's just stuff around you distracting. And so being able to curate a work environment and then leave that work environment to
Go to another room.
To literally just go to another room, go to a back patio, go outside where it's quiet, all that stuff.
Which isn't very affordable in most of LA.
It's always hard when your workspace is an area you have to cross through to enter any other part of your life.
That's why
sort of
why I
like-
close my eyes. I hit a lot of walls, but I'm in much better mental health.
But the way I don't think I'm giving you any like special secrets here, but like the way your workspace is right outside your kitchen.
Oh God. Yeah.
So in order for you to like go from your living room to your kitchen, you have to walk through the place you work, which is going to bring work to your mind, which is going to change the way you think when you're not working.
I think it's even more literal than that.
Yeah.
All the things you love to cook now infect your electronic equipment.
Literally.
Because they're 5 feet apart.
that too.
that it's all well. Then the points being that it's all combined.
Yeah.
It's all hygiene, just different types.
Yeah. And so being able to fix that.
Yeah.
And it is a 3 bedrooms plus an office.
Ooh, so you found a place.
So we found a place.
Holy moly, I didn't know that.
Actually got the place that we were hoping to get.
Yay.
So 3 bedrooms plus an office, which means we have a dedicated guest room, which is just, we already have people saying, oh, we're going to come visit you in Vegas, which is a very weird, like conceptually weird. I haven't had this much space since I was a kid and I had a house that I grew up in. So, yeah. So anyway, so that was my long-winded wish for this year.
And you're gonna put a roulette table in the guest room, right? Maybe a one-arm
roulette,
bandit.
and then a pool table, have some craps in the other room. We have a back patio.
I think that's required by law in
the stripper
Nevada.
poles.
Yeah.
Who else has a wish for this year?
I have one. When the pandemic hit, we were on the very cusp, listener, of going to London.
Oh, that's right. I
yes.
forgot about that.
And it's a heartwarming story with tragedy and levity that Trevor tells about how you're like, we're not going. You know that we're not going. I'm like, no, you have to give me hope. You have to keep hope alive. And like, no, pandemic killed that.
It's like the end of Rogue One.
It's so true. And so anyway, and even at that point in 2020, I hadn't been to Europe in a while, and I am so hankering to go.
No.
I have friends in Vienna I want to see. I've never even been to Vienna. I'd love to take Trevor to little gem cities like Prague and Seville. And I have no idea how he feels about that. He's somewhat ambivalent. But I'm teaching him Spanish with puppets.
That's right.
I
You'll be
have
able to
not
speak.
gotten a puppet lesson.
No, you haven't.
In quite some time.
Yes.
I don't know how I'm going to be equipped.
We have
for
a
any of
little
this
puppet
travel.
cow named Bernardo.
He's right over there.
And Bernardo teaches Trevor Spanish with PowerPoint. It's most amusing. It's most amusing.
Takes him a long time to use those little puppet hands to type all that up.
God damn, it does. So cut him a little slack, okay?
That sounds awesome. I want to go to Europe, but probably like a year later. I think 2024 is what I'm looking at.
No, go during the recession. It's best then. Europe's on sale.
This is cheaper.
I think this year I'm getting dragged in another direction. I think this year I'm trying to get to Hawaii.
Oh.
And if money comes in, maybe American Samoa too, just to
I think Samoa would be
go the whole distance.
just the two sides of Samoa. Yeah.
What about you, Trevor?
I don't know. I am looking to do more seeing people and more event stuff. And actually, I don't really know how much I'm allowed to say, but a goal is a something with NAFA that would be in person in Los Angeles.
Nice.
It seems like it's going to happen, and it'll be exciting, and it'll be an important thing, an in-person thing.
That's awesome.
That would be exciting. Do you have
yeah.
an idea of like what type, like just wish-wise, what type of event you'd want it to be? Like what would be happening?
Well, I mean, I know what it would be. I don't think I am allowed to say
Okay.
what it would be.
So this is a more.
But it'd be like
more of a tease than
a tease. Yeah, a little.
Got it.
And I'm hoping that it.
I'm thinking pole dancing.
Yeah. I don't know. It is complete opposite of pole dancing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But it is. I think it would be exciting, and then also like with that, there's all this pending legislation in like New York and Boston. It's New York City, New York State, Boston, New Jersey, giving protections to basically different combinations of height and weight. There would be laws about that, and like
Boston,
possibly rallies in New York,
Ooh.
which I would be
Where it
like,
all
I'm excited.
started
Yeah,
in Central Park.
Oh, true.
yeah, I'm excited for like to be able to go to New York, and also like maybe it's like it's business. I can say I'm here for business instead of just pleasure.
That's awesome.
Which always there's been times when there's this one hotel.
Oh yeah.
We always check in at, it's like, oh, are you here for business or pleasure? And one time I was like, pleasure.
Oh God.
And it came out weirder than I thought it was going to.
Weirder than that.
I was going to say weirder than that.
Somewhere there's still a bellboy out there saying, like, you wouldn't believe this guest we had.
Oh, we've
No, they know.
There
us
was
there.
we compensate the bellboys and we're
There was a veritable clown car of hot young men coming in and out of that place.
that was my second wish for 2020. A clown car of hot guys coming out.
That's a hell of a wish. With you, it would have to be more of a clown bus. But
So the one that I was thinking about doing, I think I swung a little bit off topic. I went a little bit more towards the resolution or resolve or willing into existence thing.
a goal.
Yeah, for me, I think since, I was going to say through COVID, but I think it's been through since 2016. It's just been sort of an escalation of the world is awful. And it's definitely affected my optimism versus my pessimism. So I think the thing I've been working on is trying to feel more positively about things and reframe things in more positive contexts. And the reason why I wanted to talk about that is because it is January 2nd as we're recording this, and I can already report forward movement. I am very happy.
Oh,
So as I sit here recording this podcast with all of you, I still have a cracked tooth
ouch.
that I was tried to get a root canal for before I left. It's not painful, but it occasionally causes some problems. But last night while I was working at my computer, I felt a piece of the tooth fall off, right? And it turned out it was a filling. By the crack of the filling, lost and fell out. And let me just say that for a moment, it put me into a very negative frame of mind, right?
Understandably,
It
I
is
would say.
January 1st, and I am starting off with cracked tooth. I have tooth falling apart, like, ah! But then the reframing came in.
Oh, good.
And what occurred to me was, no, I tried to get the root canal before I left for Christmas. I wasn't able to because of some annoying insurance stuff. But the tooth held through Christmas. I had no pain through Christmas.
Good timing. Good timing.
You know, literally, it just held on and it stayed all the way through New Year's Eve.
That's a great reframing.
Yeah.
I can't fault that. This tooth did good work. This filling did good work.
He's been a loyal soldier.
Yeah. So do I have the choice of looking at, like, in the moment, this sucks. But the reality of it is this was delayed through the worst possible time it could happen. And it's inconvenient, but not unmanageable. So why am I freaking myself out and doing all this stuff?
I love that, Don. I really love that.
This is, and I feel like this is the thing I need to do post-COVID, because COVID has gotten me into such a habit of looking at the cracked tooth and not what the tooth has survived.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's a good metaphor because it's just been the state of the world, as it were, has been slowly chipping away at everybody's
Teeth.
teeth.
Cracking like a bad tooth.
That's right. Some would say it's.
So I feel like, I feel like a lot of us need to try to sort of will the better point of view into existence.
Yeah.
And damn it, this year I'm going to do that work.
Yeah, that's fair.
We do have a wish that we talked about for the podcast, where we talked about our desire to do a live
Oh, yeah.
event here in Los Angeles at some point. This is not us saying we're going to do it. This is not us saying get ready for the announcement.
Right.
But this is something we want to do.
It's an aspiration.
Yeah.
It's a wish.
Well, and we might even, who knows, we might even do it in the Vegas area. Is that possible? Maybe.
I would assume it would be possible.
They just announced an event, Belly Rub Weekend, is going to be in Los Angeles.
Right, I forgot. In May.
In May.
Rub Weekend?
I know we have some
Yeah.
listeners who are probably going to be going to that event.
What is that? I've never heard of it.
Okay, so Belly Rub Weekend is
It's been a couple different things because it's the event. It started off as a gainer encourager event.
Okay.
It kind of rebranded for a while as a bear run.
briefly.
Oh,
briefly,
okay.
yeah.
That's a switch.
And I know it's in new ownership.
So I guess the answer is we don't really know what it's going to be, but
Yeah.
I would guess, given its history, it's anybody wants to show up's event.
Okay.
So, it's for you if you're there.
And it's here.
So the dates of the event, Belly Rub Weekend in Los Angeles, just sort of a save the dates. There's no details yet. Registration will be open later in January. But the dates of the event are May 19th through 21st. It's not constructed like a Chub Chaser event. It's constructed more like a bear event where you stay where you want to stay. There's no host hotel. And they're going to have places to meet.
Like meet up at this bar, meet up at
Bars,
this place for dinner, meet at this
restaurants.
place for
Okay.
fun.
Well, cool. So, we've been talking about a number of different things that we can do to kind of grow what we do with the podcast. And particularly, we've loved the interactivity in Vegas, Bigger Vegas last year, and being able to do more of that kind of stuff. And so maybe we can coordinate with Belly Rub and see what we can come up with. And even if not, I think it's still a wish and a goal to do something.
Yeah.
And so we want to do stuff.
Does someone else have a wish or should I do my wish?
You should go. I was trying to remember my other one.
I do,
know
but you can go
have
first.
another one.
Well, no, because mine is a good one to
You want
tie
to go
in.
last? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, my other wish, and this has started to happen a little bit in 2022, is I wanted to do more events out, more theater in particular. We just got season tickets, which is, it sounds easy, but when your partner is a person of size, there's a lot more negotiation with a lot more venues. So we're having season tickets. I've begun the conversations with the season ticket box office about how this is going to work. We'll see. But there are a lot of different theaters in this. It's the Center Theater Group. So they run 3 different theaters. And so we're looking to do this package. But anyway, I'm looking forward to doing more of that and really just sort of stepping up my game as a chaser and getting us to more fun stuff.
Yeah.
I can go straight into mine because mine is kind of the same thing of
good.
doing more. And we're going on a cruise
Yeah.
in a couple weeks, which this was our second cruise that was supposed to happen 2 years ago. Oh boy. Oh, trauma. Push it down. No, but I'm just getting really excited and I don't know, looking forward to documenting it the same way I kind of documented our theater stuff.
Oh.
And
You mean how you fit in spaces?
yeah, and also just how we did this.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of cool plus size travel stuff on Instagram, but I feel like it's still very much through this travel influencer lens where there's stuff is briefly talked about, but
It's supposed to look fun and rosy and look at what we did and here's how we did it.
and so we're going on the cruise. I have been trying to for even accessible tours for Royal Caribbean very frequently have weight limits, which I don't know if it's for. I assumed is it the lift where it's the van had the lift on the van for the because it's a wheelchair accessible van because it's an accessible tour has a weight limit. And it's no, there's just a...
Yeah, the problem is that whenever you wade into the waters of the Americans with Disability Act and accommodation, the sort of default setting is wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you don't need a wheelchair, and this isn't a problem, it's just a bigger conversation. It opens up the door to, well, what do you need? And what do you need is not something you can usually click a button for. You have to explain it. You have to be in conversation with someone. And honestly, the people that I've seen do the best job of this are the Broadway theaters, where there's actually a button you can click on some of Ticketmaster, whatever. There's even a button that's I need accommodation, but not a wheelchair. Nothing.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So, which I think is just their little mailbox flag to go, okay, contact this customer.
Yeah. We need hands-on support.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we're going to Labadee, Haiti, which I was trying to find like, oh, I want to do something because it's just, a new place, but it's all very active stuff like zip lining and scuba diving and stuff that I'm not sure I'm really comfortable doing that. And I'm going to be traveling, doing like a lot of travel for the first time in a long time. But I was looking and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have a scooter and I can just go around the port.
You've broken your scooter cherry and now you're ready to go to town with it.
Awesome. I've broken it before, but it's like,
yeah, he's long loved the scooter.
I know with like, I've done a ship before and it's like, I want the option of having a scooter on the ship or at port just because I know my body. I know that my body is also unpredictable. And like, I know ships and I know this one is bigger than our last one.
Oh, is it?
And I am probably going to want the scooter, at least for some of the toing and froing.
And by the way, for anybody looking to do a cruise, it is remarkably easy to set up, to have a scooter delivered to your stateroom at a cruise. I think they might require that you have an ADA room so that kind of matches up. They asked us if we had an ADA room. So I don't know if that's a requirement or just a heads up for them. But anyway, the point is that it's easier than you might think. It's like a couple of phone calls.
Nice.
Yeah. So I don't know. I will be documenting. I'll be posting stuff. I'll be sharing stuff. And I think this is the perfect segue into our tip.
We do have a tip.
Yes, we do.
Excellent.
I am actually can you go grab it from our dining room table?
Just because
it is Dan got me a Christmas gift.
It looks like that.
But it's folded.
Can I tell the story of how I got it?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
This looks like a gun.
So, for Christmas, Dan got me a foldable version of my grabber.
So it's his grabber.
That's awesome.
So once upon a time, one night we were watching, we were watching television or something, and Trevor said like, I wish my grabber folded up.
Oh.
And I was like,
register that. Keep it, lock it in your brain.
And I actually, I'm on the mailing list of a number of different rehab and accommodations places that sell everything from grabbers to things to help you put your socks on and all that good stuff. And they had a foldable grabber. And you think, well, why do you need a foldable grabber? Well, for travel. So that you can put you can literally put your grabber in your suitcase. You could put it in a tote
or in
bag.
a carry-on.
In a tote bag. That is, it's probably about, I'd say 16 inches.
Yeah, 14, 16 inches long.
Yeah.
Folded.
And so it's and obviously it's light. It has that handy thing that grabbers, some have, some don't, where you can rotate the handle and the grabber 90 degrees.
Right.
So because sometimes your grabber is in the wrong position and you don't want to rotate your hand like that.
Yeah. That looks very, very handy and slick. And as I said, like a gun when it's folded.
Well, only because it has a really cool handle.
Giant trigger on it.
It has a trigger and a really big handle.
I was kind of hoping when you pulled the trigger, it would automatically reform and shoot forward. Yeah.
Go gadget grabber.
Well, it even has a lock on that hinge. So
yes, which I didn't realize at first. I was like, I was just kind of playing with it. I'm like, okay, how does it move? How does it feel? And I was like, oh, it's pretty good. I wish it locked. And then I pressed the little thing. I'm like, it does lock.
Because it has to. Otherwise, it would be like trying to use a wet noodle to pick up stuff.
Yeah. It's interesting because, so I'm definitely going to bring it on the ship. But I was thinking, I'm like, on the ship, I feel like it'll be a little less necessary because of how they've, I'm going to...
All the food's on the table.
No, because of just everything is so designed so that nothing gets can get lost anywhere.
I'm just imagining Trevor going to the Lido Deck buffet with his grabber, just walking down the aisle, grabbing things.
Well, you can only get so close to the buffet in a scooter.
This one's mine.
It reminds me of that John Burnett routine. Skinny people, I love you, but God damn it, stop dawdling at the buffet. Grab and move. Grab and move. Grab and move.
Why do I so desperately want to see Trevor in an action movie now with a shooty grabber thing on a
you
scooter?
Kidding? He's the next Doc Ock.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Hello, Peter. And then 8 grabbers come out. Yeah.
Okay. Let's bring this. Let's.
I will share it in the
Wow.
the episode description.
Since this is an episode where we're talking about New Year's resolutions and wishes and resolves, oaths came to my mind. And there's so many interesting ways that we have taken oaths throughout the years.
God damn it. Like that?
No, not so much. Not so much swearing, but swearing an oath.
Oh.
Right? So, for example, in modern days, we generally take an oath by doing so while placing our hand on a holy book, like the Bible or the Quran, or on a secular text like the American Constitution. But before there was a Bible or a Constitution, what did the people the Bible wrote about put their hand on while swearing an oath? Okay?
These 10 commandments.
a
I have
bowl
4
of lamb's
choices
blood.
for you. Choice 1, an animal that was believed to die if the oath was broken.
Well, I wasn't far off.
2, on the life of a child, wife, or parent.
Okay.
3, on a weapon they would give to the person they were making the oath to. Or on their penis.
I'm going to say family member, like wife, child.
I think it depends on the culture. Like I can see like Vikings swearing on their
I'm
sword.
specifically
but
talking
Italians
about
would-
the people the Bible wrote about.
Oh, the people, the Bible. Good. Okay,
Yeah.
good for you.
I mean-
I'm going to say family.
Family? Okay, we got 2 for family.
I'm gonna say animal that was said to die if you broke your oath.
You broke your oath. Okay.
Yeah.
You got 2 families
sounds
and 1
very-
animal.
Yeah, it sounds very biblical.
That sounds very Jewish.
Yep. But the correct answer is, in fact, on their penis.
Really?
Yeah. In biblical times, to swear a sacred oath, the swearer made their oath by holding on to the oath giver's genitals. Since you were generally the one giving the oath, it would be your own genitals.
So you would wait. So if I'm making the oath, I hold my penis.
So here's yes, exactly. You are
Okay.
swearing on your own dick. For example, here's a passage from the Bible. Abraham said to the senior servant in his household, "Put your hand under my thigh. I want you to swear by the Lord that you'll not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites." So the servant put his hand under the thigh of his master, Abraham, and swore.
I think that's
So-
a very different Lord than we're talking about. originally.
So do you do that because if you break your oath? No, but it was because it wasn't his own penis.
Well, in that situation, it wasn't. But
But if you break the oath, does that mean you get castrated? Is that the
I
threat?
think that's sort of the implication.
Or if someone owes someone a hand job.
Oh, boy. oh, I guess it could go either way.
I'm swearing to God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. In early 19th century Ireland, what did people throw out the front door on New Year's Eve in order to ward off hunger for the coming year?
The English.
1, ashes. 2, a dead animal or person. 3, a cake. Or 4, a child.
Oh,
I'm going to say a cake.
I'm torn between ashes and
I
a
think
child.
ashes. I think ashes because I don't think the Irish would waste food. I could be wrong.
Okay, ashes.
And children? What about
We have
that?
1 ashes.
Oh, they
we have
would
1
waste
cake.
children.
We have ashes and cake.
I'm going to go with ashes.
Okay,
I
we
don't
got-
like it, but it seems
A
right.
double serving of ashes and a serving of cake.
Yeah.
And the curious New Year's tradition called the cakewalk
Oh.
was recorded in Ireland in the early 19th century. According to the custom, the head of the household would take a freshly made cake, go outside and launch the baked good outside their front
I hate
door.
this.
This was said to stave off hunger for the family of that household
That's
for the coming year.
not how hunger works.
You just have to lurk in the bushes and wait for them to throw the cake. and
We
then you
have
can-
this delicious food. What are we going to do to make sure we don't go hungry? We're going to throw the food out.
That is, in fact, how it works if you convince everyone else to do that tradition and you run around with a big
Oh, you go
net.
eat the cakes that are on
And
the
there
ground.
is an upside. It did give rise to the bunt trebuchet.
Which is used in this household.
For baked goods delivery.
All right. Final question. The ancient Japanese used to write down the text of the oath on a strip of paper that the swearer burned and ate the ashes of. What was this supposed to ensure? 1, that the digested words would be passed on to the oath taker's ancestors, who would ensure the oath was followed. 2, that the oath taker would forever remember the oath. 3, that if the oath was broken, the ashes would turn to poison and kill the oath taker. Or 4, Nothing at all. The emperor hoped this would cut down on the trend he saw in trivial or silly oaths being taken too often.
I like that. Okay, new rule, people.
If you're gonna make an oath, you gotta do this stupid thing every time. I guess have it passed on to your ancestors. I guess.
So it's sort of a celestial game of telephone.
Yeah,
Sending on the oath.
Yeah,
Sure.
like
Okay.
because if you take the oath and then die the next day, who's going to carry the oath on for you? I guess I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. I'm going to go with, I say nay. I'm going to go with that it's going to turn to poison.
Okay, we got one for poison, and we got one for.
I'm gonna the final one.
Too many goddamn oaths.
Yeah,
the nothing at all.
This is the standard.
This is just what you do now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the correct answer was, in fact, it was poison.
Yay!
It was believed that the ashes would turn to poison in your gut if you broke the oath and kill you.
But that's only good for like a day or two, and then
Oh no, Michael.
the ashes stay.
They hang around.
Okay.
Until you fulfill the
They're
promise.
undigestible. And then on the day that you fulfill the oath, you'll have a black poo.
So, Trevor, if our dear listeners
the
would like
ashes.
to swear an oath to us,
Where can
could
they do that?
We're on Instagram and Twitter as
Son of a bitch!
at Big Fat Gay Pod. We're on Facebook as the Big Fat Gay Podcast. Leave us 5 stars there. Leave us 5 stars on Apple Podcast. Support us on Patreon, www.patreon.com/BigFatGayPod. See the articles we talked about at www.bigfatgaypod.com. Maybe you're
Guys, we made it.
an oath
We got here.
and you're on a piece of paper and you're burning up. But it's okay, because if someone breaks you, you're going to turn to poison
Poison.
in their stomach.
So they better watch out.
Oh goodness.